Hi and welcome back. So in this video I'm going to cover my longevity experiment results from February, March and April of 2024. That marks the 5-year, that's a 60-month point of my longevity experiment, and it certainly doesn't seem 5 years since I started this back in 2019. And I'm going to compare the results so you can see the results on the spreadsheet that go all the way back when I started this back in 2019. So that's enough waffling off me. Let's jump in and let's look at this quarter's subjective results. Let's take a very quick look at the supplements I was taking during the last 3-month period. 1.5 grams of NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide, 1 gram of trans resveratrol, more on that later, 1,000 milligrams or 1 gram of metformin, 1.5 grams of TMG, trimethylglycine, 5,000 international units of vitamin D3, and I'm back to taking 10,000 on a Monday and a Wednesday to see if I can get my D3 levels up, because if you watch the blood test video, they were down for the last time. 120 micrograms of vitamin K2, and that is the MK7 version. 250 milligrams of magnesium, and that's the L-threonate version. 400 milligrams of the high molecular weight hyaluronic acid. 2.4 grams of fisetin and 2.4 grams of quercetin, and I take those only on the 1st, 2nd and 3rd of each month. And if you want to know why, there is a link to a periodic supplement regime in the description below. Cert6 activator, 400 milligrams a day. DIM, 600 milligrams a day, and again more on that later. Glycine and NAC, Glynac, 800 milligrams a day, and 5 grams of creatine, 1 month on and 2 months off. And if you watched my previous blood test videos, you'll know that when I was taking 5 grams of creatine and eating quite a high red meat diet, my creatinine levels went up, which affected my GFR, which negatively affected my biological age. So I've cut back on that with regard to taking it all the time, because I'm now reintroducing a lot more red meat into my diet, and we'll have to see what effect that does have on my creatinine levels. So I take the majority of these supplements between 6:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning. My DIM 600 milligrams is split into 3 doses, 200 in the morning between 6 and 7, another 200 between 8 and midday, and then the last 200 I take as I get into bed, usually between 9:30 and 10. Metformin, 500 milligrams in the morning as normal. 500 milligrams now is with my evening meal. I used to take that with my DIM between 9:30 and 10. That pack of metformin is now not on my bedside table, on my nightstand. It's now on the dining room table. And occasionally when we go out, maybe on a Thursday when we've gone to the city to do groceries, maybe we have lunch, I might also take then another 500 milligrams if I eat during the middle of the day. So it's a gram a day split into 2 500 milligram doses, and then maybe once, maybe twice maximum, I'm on 1.5 grams a day with regard to metformin. I still take my resveratrol on the days that I don't weight train. I train with weights resistance training Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So I take my resveratrol mixed into fatty yogurt, 1 gram, on a Tuesday, a Thursday and on a Saturday also. So that's it for my supplement stack. Let's now take a look at my diet and fasting. So let's cover fasting first. On my non-OMAD days, I finish eating most nights at 8 p.m, definitely finish eating by 8 p.m. The next day then, I don't eat until noon the next day. That's the 16-8 fasting protocol. That said, because OMAD is now becoming quite easy, it's also easy on the non-OMAD days to push my meal further on. So instead of needing to eat at noon because I'm feeling hungry, I'm pushing that out now till 1, 2, 3 in the afternoon. Sometimes if I'm feeling a bit peckish, I might have some nuts, but that's not really that often. Then on OMAD days, Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and occasion other days too, as I said, it's OMAD. So for example, on a Sunday, I'll finish eating Sunday night at 8 p.m. and then I won't eat again until 6 p.m. the following Monday. I tried to do the full 24 hours, but I found myself rushing to eat. So now I give myself a good 2-hour window to get all the calories and the nutrients that I need into my body. All I consume during the day on OMAD days is black coffee, water, and sometimes chamomile tea. The next thing is diet. So no lunch on OMAD days. On the days when it's 16-8, and that's usually finishing at midday, but as I said, 2, 3 in the afternoon, if I do feel hungry, which is not that often now, it's usually just a small, very small bowl of nuts. I do take my resveratrol and yogurt at 8 p.m. So breaking my fast is now only nuts and occasionally, as I said, and really only if I need to. I don't snack anymore. So anything during the day is coffee, tea and water, sometimes chamomile tea. I may occasionally, with my decaf coffee in the afternoon, add a bit of heavy whipping cream. Dinner, meat, eggs and vegetables. That said, there's a lot less vegetables than there used to be. Meat is a lot more chicken than there was. That said, we're reintroducing beef into my diet because we found a good place to get ground beef. So there's more beef burgers and cheeseburgers on the menu than there used to be. And although it's a breakfast meal, I do now eat bacon and eggs sometimes, maybe once a week. And it's 6 eggs and it's a whole bunch of bacon as well as my evening meal between 6 and 8. With regard to alcohol, it used to be wine and or beer, but now it's really wine. As I said before, the last time, I can't remember the last time I drank a beer. And again, it's still 1 or 2 glasses of wine, occasionally 3. That's only on the weekend, so either a Friday or a Saturday night, sometimes both, but really only one night a week. So that's it for my diet and fasting. Moving on to my overall feeling and specifically energy. For the last 3 months, I have to say, as normal, it's been high and steady, so not really too much to talk about that. Let's move on to my other overall feelings. So my need to nap, absolutely none at all. And if you are subscribed, you'll know I occasionally post my sleep scores on the community tab, but more on my sleep scores later. Motivation. I've changed motivation to motivation and attitude, as my motivation, as everyone's does, waxes and wanes. But it's the attitude that gets me up into the gym on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and up every day walking the dog for the full 30 minutes, even when it is pouring with rain and she's trying to head home too. Gym performance, so it's still weight training, resistance training on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, between 40 and 50 minutes. I now ruck run on a Tuesday, and if I go alone, that normally takes about 40 minutes. Thursday is a rest day, and Saturday I've now started regularly doing a 1 hour bike ride, about 1 hour and 5 minutes to do the big loop of the small island that's just down the road from where we are. And if you are subscribed, I do occasionally post my heart rate stats in the community tab too. Injuries, no injuries at all. I'm taking my time. I'm not necessarily increasing the weights that I'm used to using in the gym. But what I am doing is trying to push out a couple more reps every time I do a set. I don't want to damage my shoulder again, because that really did knock me out for a couple of months and it was not good at all. And I take my time when I ruck run. I don't go too fast and my pack is not really that heavy. I do have a niggling injury on my right Achilles tendon and my right knee. I can't remember if I mentioned before, I did break my leg in '88, compound fracture of the tib and fib, my left leg, which was quite painful. At the bottom of that, where the plate is still attached to my shin bone, I sometimes get a red sore mark if I've been running too much or if I've been doing a lot of leg weights. So with regard to injuries, luckily nothing over the last 3 months. Sickness, no sickness at all, which again, I'm thankful for. That's it for my subjective stats. So subjective stats for my 5-year point, which is 60 months. First of all, let's look at my weight. You can see my weight last time I measured in January was 88.6 kilos. That's 195.5 pounds. That's now down to 81.1 kilos. That's 178.8 pounds, down 7.5 kilos. That's 16 pounds in 3 months. And that's down 10.9 kilos, which is 24 pounds since the start. So I'm happy with that. My BMI was 28.5, now 27.7. So that's down 0.8 since January and down 2.3 since the start. Technically, I'm still overweight. So there you go. As you may know, if you watch the channel, I have no confidence in BMI whatsoever because it measures muscle and fat is exactly the same substance, and it's not. My fat percentage was 24.60. It's now 23.90. So not a lot, down 0.7 since the last check, but down 2.6 since the start, again, which I'm quite happy with. My muscle mass percentage was 34.3, is now 34.4. So again, not much, up by 0.1 since the last check, but up 0.9 since the start. Moving on to my basal metabolic rate was 1805, now 17.57. That's to be expected because I have lost quite a bit of weight since the last time. Visceral fat was 13, and surprise, surprise, it's still 13. So I'm not sure if my scales are broken. Actually, I might try it with the other scales. I've got 2 sets of the same scales. I don't see why it should be broken. I think it's just a very broad measuring metric, which is not too good. And then my waist size last time was 35 inches. This time is now 34. So I've lost a full inch in the last 3 months. I probably could have squeezed out another quarter or half an inch, but I'll go with just using the tape. So down to 34 inches. That's down 1 inch since the last time and down 5 inches since the start. Moving on to sleep, you can see here for the last quarter that my overall average sleep has been 7 hours 47, 7 hours 40, and 7 hours 46. And you'll notice that this, which covers my light, deep, and REM, is all blanked out. Back here at the beginning, you can see that I couldn't record my REM sleep at all. That's because I had this, which is the Mi Band 4, which back in the day was very good. I thought it was very useful addition to my longevity experiment, the first one I ever bought. I then upgraded that to the Mi Band 6, and then you can see that I got my REM sleep. I could start recording my REM sleep. This is my Mi Band 6. And for the more observant of you will notice it's not there. I was walking the dog one day. I checked my time when I leave the house, and then when I get to the top of the road, walk down the lane to where we live, I check it again. I checked it and it was gone. So the dog and I walked back and back twice to see if we could find it. We couldn't find it. I took the kids to school, and then I spent probably another 3 hours that morning going backwards and forwards trying to find it, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I thought not to worry. I think this happened on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Not to worry, because I've seen the Mi Band 8 for sale in one of the electronic shops in the city. We're going into the city on Sunday, so I'll be about a week without any sleep data. That's not going to break the bank. So I went in. They didn't have one. The one that they had on stock had gone. They were offering me the Mi Band 3, which is earlier than this one. And I took ages to find this because it was in a box somewhere. It's shipped from the UAE. I then ordered this. This took about a month to arrive, and I started using it. And then the other draw. So this doesn't record on their app the light, deep, and normal sleep, and their app is this. Now the Mi Band 4 and the Mi Band 6 and the Mi Band 7, you can use the Zep Life app, which I think is fantastic. All sorts of information there, but for some reason they stopped you using the Zep Life app when you went to the Mi Band 8, and their fitness tracking app is absolutely crap. They did say that you can transfer all of the stuff from any previous Mi Band into the app, so you've got the full data in here. You can't. I tried, and then it came up about a week ago saying you can now transfer all the data here to the Google Fit app, which I thought that's good. Maybe Google Fit does actually break it down into light, deep, and REM. You can't do that, so that's a lie as well. So with regard to the Mi Band and Mi Band 8, it's an absolutely terrible piece of kit, and the sooner I don't have to rely on it for sleep, the better. You may have noticed that I've been wearing a ring over the last few weeks. This isn't actually a fitness tracker yet. This is the Ultra Human testing ring, which you wear to see which finger you like it on, and then also they give you a gauging kit which has got lots of different sizes, so you can work out which size you like. They recommend your index finger, so you just decide which finger you're going to wear it on. That's coming, and that should be here the middle of next week, so I'm hoping that the data I'm going to gather from this is going to start refilling in the light, deep, and REM sleep on a monthly basis. I can check it on this app quite easily. It does tell me what it is, but I can only do it day by day. Once I go to the top and I ask for the monthly stats, all they give me is a graph like that. They don't actually break it down. It's just colors of light, deep, and REM sleep. So that's absolutely terrible. The other thing it does, which I've noticed, I used to post my sleep scores, and I stopped doing that because, again, I think this is really, really out of whack. When I was using the Mi Band 4, it was telling me I was getting probably an hour's deep sleep, maybe an hour and a half, which I thought was fantastic. This is now telling me I'm getting 2 hours 58, 3.5 hours deep sleep, and people were commenting saying that's really good deep sleep. And then I looked at the Quantified Scientist website where he reviewed the Mi Band 8, and it's absolutely shocking. He's got a graph that shows the terrible ones going up to the best ones, and he has a proper sleep monitor that he sleeps with to compare it against. And the Mi Band 8 is right down in the corner. The Mi Band 4, 6, 7 are much better at monitoring sleep. So I don't know what this company has done to actually go back with technology and make the Mi Band 8 worse than all of its predecessors. So that's my rant over. The sooner I get the Ultra Human ring, the better. I may look for another fitness tracker. I know the Whoop is quite good. I'm not going to pay for the Whoop and then pay monthly to get the data, which is behind their paywall. I think that's a bit shocking. The Ultra Human ring doesn't do that, as does the Aura ring. The Aura ring only gives you some data. You then got to pay monthly to get the rest of it. The Ultra Human ring, which has got very good reviews on YouTube, doesn't require you to have a monthly subscription. So I'm looking for another fitness band that I can wear that isn't Mi Band, but is not one that you've got a monthly subscription as well. If anyone does know of one, let me know that in the comments below. So that's it, unfortunately, for my sleep scores. Let's move on to my resting heart rate. I will slowly scroll down here so you can check them. They're usually between 55 and sort of 61, 62. It went up a couple of times up to the 70s when I had COVID, but generally it's between, as I say, 55 and 60, 62. So for the last quarter, you can see there that February was 60, March the average was 61, and April the average was 60. And again, this is all done on the Mi Band 8, so I'm not sure how accurate that is, although it is much in line with what it was before. That gives me an overall average for the quarter of 60, which is good. 60, when you look at this chart, as a 60-year-old now, which is what I am, still has me in the excellent bracket, so I'm more than happy with that. Grip strength, so you can see last month my left hand was 111.8 and my right hand was 114 pounds. This time it was 112.8 on my left, so that's up 1, and it was 116 on the right, so that's up as well, and I'm very happy with that. Then I've moved down an element on here, so I'm now 60 to 64. Anything more than 105 is classed as strong, so 105, 112, 116 are well above 105. So again, I'm happy with my grip strength. And grip strength is a proxy for longevity, so that's also good. Some people, because it is a proxy for longevity, do grip strength exercises in particular to get their grip strength up. I don't think it's a proxy for longevity like that. If you do your normal daily routine and then you've got a strong grip strength, that might be the proxy. But if you're fat and you drink beer and you eat the wrong food and you don't exercise, but all you do is grip strength, I don't think that's an overall proxy for longevity. So I think those people are making a mistake. Step count, my target is 5,000 because I've done quite a few reviews of studies that say the sweet spot is somewhere between 3 and 6 with regard to longevity and all-cause mortality rates being lower. But they do say, all of these studies, that the more the better. So the closer you get to 10,000 and even more, the better. So for the last quarter, my averages have been 6,253 in February, March was 6,015, and April was 8,638. So those are good. So for the quarter, my average has been 6,968, so nearly 7,000, which is well above the 5,000 that I'm aiming for. So I'm happy with that. Well, I hope you found that interesting or informative, hopefully both. I made some notes on my pad, so I'm going to read from that if it's okay. I think all in all, not too bad. I think trends are key here, hence the reason for gathering data over the last 5 years. If you were just to look at quarterly or monthly stats, they'd be going up and down. It'd be difficult to see what was actually happening. A protracted timeline obviously gives you a much better overview of what's happening. I think I'm heading in the right direction. According to the vast majority of studies I've read, including studies out of Harvard, most adults gain between 1 and 2 pounds of weight per year as they age. And I'm guessing they're not packing on lean muscle mass. This also comes, unfortunately, with a 1 or 2 inch increase in their waist circumference as well. So my waist at the start of this 5 years ago was 39 inches. It's now down to 34. Remember, I measure around my belly button. If I follow the norms, my waist could now be up as far as 49 inches and not the 34 that it is. My weight at the start was 202 pounds. That's now down to 179. And again, if I'd followed the norms, I could be anywhere up as far as 212 pounds when it comes to weight. Add to that, my body fat percentage is not increasing. My BMI, not that I pay much attention to it, also is not increasing, it's coming down. My muscle mass is either remaining fairly constant, but more importantly, when you're looking about sarcopenia, my muscle mass is not dropping. So I think all in all, I'm heading in the right direction. Let me know what you think of these stats for my 5-year review.